Hey house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 16 updates and spoilers. We have two house guests of the day, Survivor Kid 6 and Mike Marchio. So Survivor Kid, hi! And Mike has two questions. Will the rewind cost Frankie the game? Yes. And second question, who's going to be America's favorite player? He thinks it's going to come down to Donnie and Zach, and I think I'd have to agree with that. I think that Frankie could have a chance. I'm a little worried that the vote will be split between Donnie and Zach, and then all of Ariana's fans will vote for Frankie and he'll win. That would make me sad, but you never know. Let me know who you guys think is going to win America's favorite player in the comments. And I just want to say real quick, yesterday when I was editing the video, I was so tired, and at that point in the middle where Lucy was barking and we had to cut, I totally forgot to trim the two clips, or the next clip, and that's why you had that weird dead air there where I was just like, okay. Yeah, that's what that was. It was hilarious, but I didn't do that on purpose. So anyway, yesterday, Big Brother was like to the house guests, y'all are boring, here's some booze. So they gave them 6 beers and a bottle of wine, and the only takers were Victoria, Cody, and Caleb, as usual. So last night was taco night in the Big Brother house, just like most other nights. If they're not eating tacos, they're eating fish. And sometimes, when they get really crazy, they have fish tacos. So, anyway, family dinner. They were all talking about visiting each other after they get out of this mess, and going out and partying and how much fun it's going to be. So at this point, Victoria has had a little bit of wine. She gets a little tipsy. So after dinner, Derek is talking to Victoria alone, and he's like, all right, you need to slow down on the wine. And he's like, I just don't want you to slip up and say something that you shouldn't. And she's like, no, I just laugh a lot when I drink. So he says, you're done with the wine, you're scaring me now. I'll buy you a big glass when we get out of here. So then she's like, what? Why? So it seems like she's almost trying to make Derek a little bit jealous, because she starts talking about how she loves Caleb, and Derek's like, where the hell is this coming from? Thought you hated him. And she's like, no, I only didn't like him the first week. So it's just not a good situation. And then she goes into the whole, she needs something because she's all alone in the house, and then she uses this weird, like, scary, like, overly nice drunk tone to her voice, and she's like, I don't know if I can pull this off. She's like, imagine being in a house full of girls and your best friend neglects you all day and you have nothing to do, so you drink wine. It was so weird! But then he was like, alright, you really need to stop. You're definitely cut off. We'll come back to that. So Caleb and Frankie are chatting up in the HOH room. And Frankie's like, Caleb, are we still good? Caleb's like, yes, yes. So then Frankie is like, alright, well, we need to go to bed early then, because apparently Big Brother told them that something big and exciting will be happening tomorrow, meaning today. So they didn't tell them what it was. They didn't say, like, you're gonna be evicted, Frankie, so go to sleep. But they were like, yeah, we want to see you guys up and looking fresh by 9 a.m. tomorrow, so don't be staying up late. So they think that they're probably going to have a special guest or something. So just like when we had the mystery button last week, we got lots of great guesses with this too. So, you know, there were some normal ones like, oh, maybe Izzy's coming back to play for the day. Maybe like a celebrity's coming in, something about an old diesel truck with cash, and you gotta put the cash in the back of the truck, and whoever has the most wins. And then Caleb is like, what if we get a bunch of Hooters waitresses up in here with wings and some shrimp, and we get to watch some Monday Night Football and go swimming with the waitresses. And then okay. And then Frankie was like, maybe we'll get like a coaching session with a former house guest. Again, that's a little more realistic. So Caleb's like, maybe it's Rachel and that guy again. Really? That guy? I'm so sorry, Brendan. So, yeah, there's all of that. Let's get back to Derek and Victoria. He is very annoyed by Victoria's drinking. He says this to himself. He says, there's a prime example of someone who shouldn't drink, especially when you're on a game show trying to win $500,000. Thanks, Dadbot. You're not my real dad. So she tells him, oh, Derek, like, I hope you know that I consider you family and you're like a brother to me, but I haven't met your wife or child. So Derek pretty much, like, ignores all of this. He's not really talking to her because, don't forget, they're still supposed to be fighting at this point, and Victoria's like, I love you! So they were really lucky that no one was around. So while all those shenanigans were happening, Caleb and Cody were chatting upstairs in the HOH, and they're like, yeah, we're awesome, like, we're making the best decision this week, getting rid of Frankie, and this will give them a better shot at a Final 3 with Derek, which is what they want. The only obstacle standing in front of them is Victoria. So Caleb is like, yeah, I think both of us would be able to beat Derek in the Final 2. And then Caleb's like, yeah, Cody, you know, even if the Final 2 is you and Derek, at least I'll be 3rd place and I'll be winning that America's Favorite Player, so it's all good. Caleb, no! So Derek joins them upstairs, and they're all like, all right, let's get down to business, defeat the Huns. Are we telling Frankie that he's going home or what? So they're like, yes, we have to tell him because if we don't, we're gonna look like real a-holes. So Caleb also wants to build on his pawn speech from the nomination ceremony. He's like, oh, I want to say, oh, I forgot to say, sometimes pawns go home. Oh my god, it's so funny, I forgot to laugh. So they're like, should we tell him right before? Should we tell him the night before? So I feel like they still didn't really decide on this. They were saying, I think they want to tell him the night before. The thing is, though, they still think that the eviction is on Wednesday, so they're not planning on telling him until Tuesday night. But he'll already be out the door. So Victoria goes upstairs around this point, breaks up the conversation, so Derek has to be like, oh, I can't be up here anymore. So he goes downstairs, Cody goes downstairs, and Derek and Cody have their own little chat. So they talk about how Caleb kind of has deals, well, does have deals, with both Derek and Cody for the coming week. So they compare notes, and Caleb thinks that he's going to be safe in the Final 4 with either of these guys winning the HOH. Because remember, Caleb can't compete in this next HOH competition. So he thinks, alright, if Derek wins, he's going to nominate Cody and Victoria. If Cody wins, he's going to nominate Derek and Victoria. And if Victoria wins, she's not going to win. So they're like, well, we know that's not happening. We're both good with each other. And they agree that if either of them win, the nominations are going to be Caleb and Victoria. But then they're wondering, maybe it would be a good idea for them to nominate each other if one of them wins. Because this will kind of ease Caleb's mind in case he wins the power of veto. Because they're thinking if they do nominate Caleb right off the bat, he's going to be pissed. And then if he wins that power of veto, he could go ahead and get rid of whoever is up on the block against Victoria, and that would be no bueno for them. So if you really think about it, or if you only think about it a little, nominations don't really matter in the Final 4. You're safe by winning either HOH or the power of veto. So it comes down to that power of veto. So I think they're going to think about that more. They didn't really have a solid decision on that yet. But then conversation changes. Derek's like, Victoria's really annoying. Meanwhile, tipsy little Victoria, loyal, tipsy little Victoria, is upstairs in the HOH room with Caleb, sticking to Derek's plan. She's like, Caleb, if you make it to the end, I'm going to vote for you. So she's still going through with that because Derek wants everyone to think that he's not going to have any votes from the jury. So then, later on last night, Derek and Victoria chatting in the bathroom area. He basically scolds her. He's like, yeah, I hate to tell you this, but you haven't really been on your A game the past few days. And he doesn't want her to make a mistake because she decided one time to have 4 glasses of wine. So he tells her, you need to go to bed. So he's like, I'm not telling you have to, but I'm just saying, go to bed. So she's like, well, I'm really lonely and you're being super mean. So he's like, I'm not mad. I'm just trying to help you. And I was waiting for him to go all dad bod and be like, I'm not mad, I'm just really disappointed. So they revisit the same conversation a couple more times last night. And after the last time, Victoria goes to bed and Derek talks directly to the camera and he's like, wow, I almost told Victoria right then and there that I'm actually a cop. And he said he was this close to telling her, but then he was like, no, even though she probably would have kept that secret, it would have been a dumb move, and I just need to keep my mouth shut for the rest of the game. Almost there. So that's it for last night. This morning, the house guests woke up just before 9 a.m., and they're all excited because they think they're going to have a special guest or something. So they find in the storage room these white shirts and tie-dye kits that Big Brother has left for them. And they're like, this is cool, but this can't be it. This can't be why they told us we have to get up early. So we only got to see them for a few minutes this morning. The feeds went off around 9:20 a.m. You know what that means? Bye, Frankie. When the feeds come back tomorrow after the show, he should be gone, unless something crazy happens. So the feeds are supposed to come back after tomorrow night's show, so that means obviously they'll be off for tomorrow's spoiler, but don't fret, I'm still going to have a video, and I'm thinking we're going to do our typical feeds off for the day show format where we have special guests, and we talk about what's been going on recently, and play fun games and stuff like that. So make sure you tune in for that, and until then, much love.
Edit.